Hi, thanks for joining me today. This video is going to explore some poses that we can do if our hips are tight. And I have designed this so that if you are at the barn and you want to do these stretches before you get on your horse, this will be an accessible video for you. So because I am not at the barn, I have my mat here on my deck, and I have a chair. And I have a couple yoga blocks. You can do this at the barn before you ride if you have a solid surface that's not slippery. So, in the paddock area, if you have an area that the footing's not slippery, you can use a mounting block that's tall enough for you to sit on comfortably with your knees level, thighs level, or you can sit on a small a chair or a bench at the barn. So we are going to explore some movements, again, to help release some tightness in our hips. The first one is sort of a balancing posture. So if you're at the barn, you can do this on a mounting block. I am going to give a little demo here with my chair for balance. So I'm going to step onto my block. So again, you can do this on the lowest step of a mounting block. But I'm going to step up onto it with my left leg, the sole of the foot level on the ground, my hips level. And then if I want to, I can hang onto my chair for a little balance. But if you want to test your balance a little bit, you don't have to have the chair. You can keep both hands to your hips. And again, if you're at the barn, maybe if you have your mounting block close to a solid surface like the fence or something like that. And then just pick your toes of your right foot up enough off the ground that your leg hangs but your hips stay level. And then very gently just let that leg begin to swing a little forward and back. So what this is letting us do is lengthen some of our hip flexor muscles, especially the psoas muscle, which can get very short and tight when we sit. So again, you can test your balance by having your hands at your hips, but make more the pose about just letting this leg relax and gently swing forward and back. Make sure you're breathing. And then go ahead and just step back, come to your mountain pose. Close your eyes for a moment and just notice if you feel any difference between the two sides of your body. Does your right leg that you've been letting swing and hang feel any longer than the left? It may not, but just notice. And then very gently let the eyes open. So same thing on the second side. So again, if you're using a yoga block, just move that off to the side. If you're using your mounting block, turn the other direction. So letting that opposite leg stand up. So now the right foot is on the block. And you find level hips. Let the left toes just come far enough away that you can start to let this leg just swing forward and back. Again, just letting some length come into that psoas muscle. Again, one of our main hip flexor muscles. And again, you can use a chair or a wall or a fence if you're at the barn for balance or not. Make sure you're breathing. And again, as you're ready, just gently step back, come to that mountain pose. Try not to think about it too much. Close your eyes. Notice how you feel. And again, if you felt a little off center after the first side, notice if you feel more even again after we've done the second side. Again, it may not be that dramatic, but just notice what you feel. And then very gently let the eyes open. So if we're using a yoga block, you can just move that out of the way. Your chair or the fence or the wall, whatever you're using for your balance, you can have that close by. So now we're going to do a little dynamic movement with the legs, going forward and back, side to side. And this is just going to explore range of motion a little bit, getting some movement going in the leg that's moving, obviously. But then in the standing leg, it's really going to help to support the glute med muscle, which is our stabilizer in our standing and our stabilizer in the saddle. So let's start with I'm not going to mirror you guys today, so I'm starting with the right leg. So just picking the right foot up off the mat a little bit, swing it a little forward and a little back. And again, you can use this little balance, inhale and exhale, and then land that leg back down, and then going to the other side. And as you do this, think of keeping the hips level. So swing the left leg forward and back, inhale and exhale. And then again, land back in that mountain pose. And again, you can use that, your support for balance there, or you can just keep your hands at your hips. Second one, we'll bring the leg out to the side and then across the midline. And inhale it out to the side and across the midline and out to the side and across the midline and out to the side and across the midline. Land that leg back down. And you're going to start to notice that one leg is easier than the other. We usually have a stronger leg. So bring that opposite leg out to the side and across the midline. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. And again, land that leg back down. Just let the arms release by your side. Come back to that home base, to that mountain pose. Inhale and exhale. And again, hands can be at the hips, or you can use your balance, your chair for your balance and support. So now we're going to bend the lifted leg, bend the knee. Your foot can be flexed or your toes pointed, whatever feels best for you, as long as there's activity in the leg and the foot. And then bring the leg out to the side, and then bring it back to center and across the midline, and bring it back to center and out to the side and back to center and across the midline, and bring it out to the side and back to center and across the midline. One more time. Bring it out to the side, back to center, across the midline. Land that leg down. Take a breath. Inhale and exhale, and then opposite side. So picking that leg up, again, either point or flex the toes. Inhale the leg out to the side and back to center. And exhale, cross midline. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Inhaling out to the side, back to center. Exhale. Good. Obviously, this is my weaker leg. One more time each side. Good. And then land that leg back down. Again, pause for a moment. Find your mountain pose. Maybe close the eyes once again. Notice sensation. So you might be feeling some in this outer glute muscles of that standing leg that was supporting you. Maybe a little bit of those muscles in the inner thighs and outer thighs as they were moving. Inhale and exhale. And then very gently let the eyes open. So now, little lunge sequence and hamstring sequence. So if you have your chair, if you're at home, you have a chair, bring your chair out in front of you. You can do the same thing with a bench or a mounting block. Come into the front of your bench or your mounting block. Bring your right leg up onto the your support, whatever that is. Flex the foot. Think of the hips staying square. Lengthen up through the crown of the head. Float the arms up as you inhale. As you exhale, bring the hands to the hips and think of it just a little hinge at the hip till you feel a little stretch in that hamstring. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, bend your knee, come forward into a lunge, and you can adjust your foot however you need on that chair, just as long as your heel stays either in front of or under your knee, but not the heel behind the knee. And then come back to center. Straighten that front leg once again. And again, a little hinge forward at the hip. So hamstring here. Inhale, come up. Exhale, bend the knee, come forward. So we're getting some flexion in this right hip, some extension in that quadricep and psoas muscle. And then come back again. One more time. Hinge at the hip. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, come forward. That's add on this time. So float the arms up. Exhale, twist to your right. Bring your left hand to the outside of the right thigh. Open up through that right arm, reaching it back and up. So you're getting that nice stretch through the front of the chest. And then inhale, untwist both arms up. Exhale, bring the hands down to the hips. Straighten that front leg. And then bring that right leg back down. Pause here. Inhale. And exhale. So do the same thing on the second side. So bring that left leg out. So again, find your foundation here first. It's going to may be different. Again, this is my weaker leg, my standing leg. So notice how that is for you. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, again, hinge a little forward. We want to keep a nice flat back, so don't try to round and go forward. Just close the hinge of your hip here and keep a little tiny bend in that front knee. Don't hyperextend the knee. Inhale, come up. Exhale, bend the front knee, shift forward. Again, we're getting that flexion in the left hip, that extension in the right leg. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, again, a little hinge at the hip. Inhale, back up. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, again, a little hamstring stretch, hinging forward. Inhale, back up. Exhale, come forward. This time, stay here. Float the arms all the way up. Exhale, bring the right hand to the outside of the left knee, and then we're open that left knee, or left arm, excuse me, out to the side. So you're feeling that nice stretch through the front of the chest. Good. And then inhale, float the arms all the way back up. Exhale, bring the hands to the hips, straighten the front leg. Release that left leg down. Pause for a breath. Inhale and exhale. So one last little sequence here for the hips. So this time we're going to sit down. So if you have your chair, be sitting on your chair. If you're, again, sitting on a mounting block. Now, if you do have a mounting block, make sure it's one that is, when you sit on it, that your thighs are parallel to the floor. So you don't want to be sitting on a really low one with your legs up like this. Or you can find a bench or something that's the right height. So from this position, let's take the right leg, bring the right ankle just above your left knee, resting on your thigh. Right foot's flexed. Nice length through the crown of the head. You might already be feeling this in that right hip. This is enough sensation for you. Stay right like this. Or you can think of that little hinge forward at the hips. Again, not collapsing through the spine, but a little hinge forward to feel a little bit more stretch in that right hip. Inhale and exhale. Good. And don't worry, if your leg is up here, that's okay. Wherever that sensation is for you. Everybody has a different rotation in their hips. So don't try to make it look like what my pose looks like. It's what it feels like for you. Where do you feel that stretch? And then inhale, come all the way back up. Take that right leg, both hands behind the thigh, and just give that whole leg a little shake there. And then release that foot back down. And then take the second side. So taking that left ankle, now. So we're flexing that foot, hand just slightly resting on that knee. Nice length through the spine. Again, feeling that sensation in that left hip, and maybe this is perfect for you. And again, maybe your knee's up here, that's fine. Inhale and exhale. And then again, a little hinge forward. I like to feel what we call the Goldilocks sensation. It's not too much stretch, not too little stretch, just find what is just right. Inhale and exhale. Good, think of that length of your spine. This side might feel totally different. And then once again, come all the way back up. Take that left leg, you can just support behind that knee and just give that whole leg a little shake. And then release that leg down. Let the hands rest on the thighs, palms down or up. Close your eyes for a few moments. Just notice your breath. Notice how your hips feel. And then very gently let the eyes open. So thank you for joining me today. I hope that gave you a few tips that you can do either right before you ride or anytime you've been kind of stuck and sitting a lot. Places that, you can do this. You can do this in the airport, anywhere you have a little space. But yes, definitely at the barn, again, using a bench or a mounting block or something like that. And of course, always, if you have your mat and all your lovely props at home, you can do that. You can do this whenever you'd like. But thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. And I hope to see you sometime soon in the saddle or on the mat. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.